everybody, what's going on? Vinny here from Nerd Talk, and today we're taking a look back at my Galaxy S5 and to see what I think about it after a whole year of actually using the device. Like I said, I've used this phone for just about a year. I got it last year on launch day, which was April 11th, 2014. So first off, if you're not familiar with the phone, we'll go ahead and do a little hardware tour. So we're down at the bottom here, we have our normal home button, as well as our capacitive, back, and multitask buttons. Okay, and then off to the back here we have our 16 megapixel camera, as well as our LED flash that also duals as a heart rate monitor, which was a big kind of gimmicky thing that they came out with. I don't think I used it 3 days after I actually had the phone. I used it for the first 2 days just because I wanted to try and implement it into my life, and it just didn't have any use for me. But anyways, you also have some Verizon branding with 4G LTE, Galaxy S5 down here at the bottom with a speakerphone. Off to the left side of the phone you have your volume rocker and nothing else. On the bottom here, we used to have a flap for the USB 3.0, but now, as you can see, it has fallen off from my use for a year. We also have a little hole there for the microphone. If you can't see that, I don't know. Off to the right, we have our power button and nada. Top here, we have our 3.5mm headphone jack, an IR blaster, and we have a front-facing camera here on the front, which I didn't mention, which is actually a 2.1 megapixel camera. So off to the device itself. Now, first off, for the first half of the year that I had the phone, I actually didn't even root it. I was running stock build out of the box, and I was just fine with it. After a while, it got pretty boring, and I, of course, rooted it, uploaded a custom ROM, and did the whole thing. As of yesterday, however, I've gone back to the lollipop build of the Samsung Galaxy S5. So it's a little better, but I'm still running a Nova launcher. So to start off, I'd like to talk about the battery life. So the battery life on this phone is actually pretty great. That's the one thing that really just kept me from getting anything new out there, is just I really like the battery life and how the phone performed. So we'll go down here and just take a look real quick at what my battery has been like today. So as you can see, I have approximately 49% remaining, which is going to give me another 8 hours of battery life. I unplugged the phone at about 8:45ish this morning, and it's already 4:16 p.m. So I've used it for almost coming up on 8 hours. So this phone's gonna almost last me a full 16 hours, which is pretty normal. Usually when I get home from a day at work, it usually takes me about 10 hours from unplugging the phone to getting home after work. I'm left with about 30% to 35%. So that's pretty good. That's pretty much a typical day for me, and it's, to me, pretty impressive. Go ahead and talk about the screen a little bit here. So it's a 5.1 inch screen, which is the same size the Galaxy S6 is going to have, and it's a resolution of 1080p. So you got 1080 by 1920, which gives you a PPI of 432. Yes, it is also, of course, a Super AMOLED display, and let me tell you, it is gorgeous, and of course, it is a construction of Gorilla Glass 3. So, very nice on that front. The phone overall has never really slowed down for me. The processor is just great. It's the Qualcomm 801 Snapdragon, which is a quad-core 2500 megahertz processor. It has only 2 gigs of RAM, which is the only thing that's kind of meh to me. I wish it was 3 gigs, but because the Note at the time had 3 gigs, we were all expecting 3 gigs. Only had 2 gigs, but for me, from the life of the phone, it's actually worked just fine. Would I recommend this phone? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why not. It's only 99 bucks right now, so if you're looking for a bargain smartphone that has great specs and could last you a 2-year contract, Galaxy S5 actually isn't that bad. It was one of those phones that didn't get a whole lot of praise when it came out, and I was one of those people that just kind of stuck with it. I got it on launch day. I was a little disappointed at first with the specs. I kind of wish I would have gotten the M8, but now that I'm here, I'm glad I have the S5. Yeah, it does crinkle a little bit sometimes, which is a little annoying. I'll see if I can get it caught on the camera. Yeah, that's not pretty, and it is quite evident at all times when you're using the phone. You squeeze it and it just cringes. It's because it's made out of plastic, but I mean, for the most part, it's held up. I mean, I haven't used the case that much with the phone. You can see the back is still in phenomenal shape. The only real ding I have is right here in the corner, which is actually a pretty nasty fall, to be completely honest with you guys. But the screen was fine, and I was actually expecting to pick up the phone, because what happened was it landed here, fell on its face, and I was expecting to pick it up and be disappointed, but actually went pretty well, you know. Screen's fine. I have a few little scratches here and there, but nothing too major. All in all, would I recommend the phone? Yes. If you're looking for a phone that's cheap and does great, has good battery life, has a good camera, that's one thing. Camera is great on the phone. So the camera is very good for a $99 phone. You obviously get 4G LTE. You get the 16 gigabytes of storage, which for the most part is pretty good. It is expandable. I personally have a 32 gigabyte SD card inside of it. So if you want to go that route, that's of course available to you on this phone. It does have that slot. The only thing that is disappointing is the waterproof thing is kind of a joke to me, because this thing never worked. I mean, a week after I had the phone, it would constantly lift, wouldn't stay together. And so eventually, I want to say about 5 months after I had the phone, I pulled it out of my pocket and it was just gone. I don't even know what happened to it. It was just fell off at some point. So that's the only thing that's disappointing. The waterproof feature is kind of non-existent, even though it technically is splash proof, really, up to, I think it's up to 1 meter in water it can withstand, which I believe, because I did test it, up to 6 inches in water, and it was fine. But after about 2 weeks, like I said, I wouldn't trust the whole waterproof thing. So to me, guys, that's the only real gripe, is the whole waterproof thing. I think that's kind of a joke. You know, maybe you'll have better experience than I did with the waterproof, but to me, that's the only real thing I can gripe about on this phone. Everything else is just awesome. The 2 gigabytes of RAM is just fine. The quad-core processor from Snapdragon, from Qualcomm, is just perfect. You have a great battery that lasts you almost a whole entire day. Talk time average on it is 21 hours according to Samsung, which I've never actually tested, but as you can see, I mean, it lasts forever for me. I've never had an issue with it, draining a lot of batteries in the past with Samsung. It worked great for the, half of the year. The rest of the half of the year, it'd last 5 hours. Not the case with this one. Great battery. Other than that, guys, if you have any questions, please comment down below and ask. I didn't really go through a whole lot with the phone. Kind of wanted to keep this video relevantly short, but with all that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.